Hey, welcome back to my Permanently Filipino playlist, where I basically talk about the decisions and the experiences that my husband and I have had since we decided to transition from the United States to the Philippines as retirees and becoming permanent residents. Now, in hindsight, I will say, we did not start off as vacationers at some resort at a beach watching the sunset. Personally, that's my ultimate goal. It has not happened. It is now September 2024. Has not happened. But in hindsight, I'm fine with it, because my husband and I have the ultimate goal of becoming permanent residents. We decided to move here. And most people who decide to move from one place to another place don't start off with a vacation. Most people. And we also did not want the amount of time and financial resources going towards a vacation when we ultimately want to just live here. And once we become permanent residents, we'll be able to vacation anywhere, whenever we want, because we're retirees. So I still think the decisions that we've made, living in the Philippines, the different accommodations, all the way up to deciding to become renters, and then in this video talking about all of the legal matters, I still believe they were the best decisions for us. So, starting off, when we did get here, even though I was not at some beautiful resort on a beach watching the sunset, we were still at a really beautiful hotel, Bayleaf Intramuros, where I could still watch the sunset, and I could still see the Philippines, and I could be on a balcony and watch just everyday life being in the Philippines. The last time I was here, I was 2.5 years old, and I don't remember anything, because my parents adopted me and I was whisked away to become a naturalized United States citizen. So to just be back in the Philippines, to be surrounded by people who looked like me, to take the first week to experience that, was maybe one of the best promises that I made to my husband in regards to my personal mental health and the transitioning from the United States to the Philippines. It allowed me to soak in being in this space, being in the country. But by the second week, I was in it to win it, because I was at the Bureau of Immigration for my third attempt to try to become a dual citizen. Now, notice today this video is just going to focus on a little overview of where I went, all of the different government agencies we used, everything that we had done in 6 months to become legal in different aspects in the Philippines. Each of these will have a separate video giving more detail. So my time in the Bureau of Immigration might not necessarily share what it's like to become a dual citizen and that experience, but it will address going into the Bureau of Immigration and what we needed to do as we were going through biometrics, for example, so we could become a dual citizen. So there will be future videos in regards to everything that I'm talking about. So my third attempt was basically, I was told, due to my birth certificate and the lack of information about my birth mother, I could not become a dual citizen. for a person who does not like to be told no and is very stubborn, that did not stop me, because I made an appointment at PSA Servilis to find out about my birth mother and to see if I could get a copy of her birth certificate. And through that experience, and again in a separate video, I found out I could not get a copy of her birth certificate, and that's why my husband and I considered going to Subic Bay for the summer 2024. Obviously we did not, so that I could be close to Angeles City, which is where I was born, and maybe find her myself. And that might be something in the future. I know that is something that I have talked to my husband about, and we'll see. We'll see. That if any of that happens, it will be part of this playlist. But it is the gears are moving, and it is a consideration. But PSA Servilis, Bureau of Immigration, boom, boom, got knocked down. I do not have any information, cannot get any information to become a dual citizen. Again, I'm stubborn. I want something to at least show on a card I am a Filipino. And even if I'm under the Balikbayan visa, I am still a Filipino. So I went back to the Bureau of Immigration to apply for my ACR I-card, which is the red card, because at least it would help me in other matters, getting a bank account maybe, and then also to get GCash, which was super important. So I did that, and that was, I have to look at my notes, December 22nd was when I went to go get, apply for the ACR card. And that took about an hour. I think it took about an hour to do. And then on January 5th, I finally received the actual card. So from December 22nd to January 5th, being at the Bureau of Immigration for an hour, and then waiting a couple of weeks, which you have to call every week to see if it's ready. Then I went and just got it. And then I could officially use it to get GCash. And maybe I might do a video on that, because that took forever. Even because I had that card, my ACR I card, GCash still took forever. So then the next step, we decided we were going to convert our driver's license from a United States driver's license to a Filipino driver's license. And because we didn't get an international driver's license, and to me, that's not necessary, because the conversion is super easy, and that will be a separate video. But we needed a medical clearance, and I thought that we could just go to any medical place to get a medical clearance, which you cannot. You must go to one that is an LTO, Land Transportation Office approved medical clinic. As long as they are approved by LTO, you can go to any of them. But for us to get our license converted, we couldn't just go to any LTO office. We had to go to the one in Quezon. So I will talk about that in a later video. Our medical clearance in Makati took about 15 minutes. Super easy, no big deal. And that medical clearance is good for 3 months. So even though we had the medical clearance in our hands, we didn't officially go to get our driver's license converted until about March. And mainly because we were using Grab the entire time, and we didn't plan on buying a car. And to be honest with you, we still don't have a car. We don't plan on buying a car for another 2 to 3 years. So there's really no rush, but it's good to have another form of ID. If I had a choice between which ID has more weight in the Philippines, a Philippines driver's license has way more weight than my Balikbayan Visa ACR card. Now, even though I used my Balikbayan Visa ACR card to go to BDO to try to get a bank account, I still could not get a bank account because we weren't permanent residents and we needed more information to get a bank account. And I will talk about that in a future video too. That's super interesting. So anyway, we got our medical clearance. We decided not to get our driver's license yet at that time, okay? Sorry, have a delivery, I'll be right back. Hey, I'm back. Sorry, I'm not a fan of starting a video, stopping a video, starting a video, stopping a video, and then piecemealing it all together. I'm just the type of person, do a video, upload it, move on with my life, okay? But when that doorbell rings, gotta answer it. And can't keep people waiting. And especially when you're getting fresh banana bread right out of the oven, still warm. And this is a perfect example of why my husband and I decided to become renters. Decided not to live the nomadic life. We didn't pack for the nomadic life, number one. Especially with our Balikbayan suitcases. We packed heavy. If you pack heavy, you need to become a renter sooner than later. If you pack light, backpack and a carry-on, I think that's the perfect thing to do. To live on different islands, experience different places. I mean, that would be super cool to do. But we didn't start off planning, we didn't plan that way, so we really couldn't live that way, even though in our head we were thinking we might live that way. Even if we had decided to live that way 6 months at a time, traveling heavy is not the way to do it. So we are so grateful that we made the decision to become renters and live in a community, a subdivision, a neighborhood, a kapitbahay. Because we are surrounded by some of the sweetest people you could ever find. And we're so grateful to be in this community. And from our landlords to all of our neighbors, I mean, they start off as strangers and they don't know us. And they're so sweet. So, absolutely grateful, over the moon. And I mean, I cannot speak enough. I'm just absolutely speechless. Totally surprised, did not expect this, especially when I'm trying to do a video, but I'm so grateful. But going back to what I was talking about a moment ago, okay, so in February, well, in January, we'd gotten our medical clearance, okay? In January, I'd gotten, my Gcash was finally approved. My ACR iCard. I can carry something around. Love having that. It was more for me than for anyone else because it didn't, other than getting Gcash, it didn't really give me as much of, it just was evidence that I'm a Balikbayan visa carrier. That's really all it was. I think over the next few months, starting in March, all the way until June, those months were the most critical in working towards our permanent residency. So in February, the beginning of February, I think it was, let's see, nope, towards the end of February. My stubborn self decided, okay, fine, I can't become a dual citizen on my own. Let's see if there's somebody out there who can help me. And that's why we went to JRC to see if they could help me become a dual citizen. And that's when we, and if I couldn't become a dual citizen, could the 13G visa be the next route for me to take to become a permanent resident? So that happened in February. In March, like the day before our medical clearance wasn't going to be effective, like it expired, we finally went to Quezon City, which I'll have more information about that in another video, to get our converted driver's license, Philippines driver's license. What they handed to us was a paper license, and it was a temporary license. My husband laminated his, I did not, just kept it in the wallet. But that was enough for us to say that we had that, so if we needed to drive a car, we could, even though we have zero intentions still of owning a car, driving a car, none of that. But at least it was done, right? We were a little disappointed we were given a temporary driver's license, but once I fast forward to June, it's no big deal, right? By May, we, with the help of our landlords, which so grateful for them, again, grateful for them, sweetest people, they contacted their bank and helped us, that person at that bank helped us get a bank account. So through the recommendation of our landlords, who contacted one of their contacts at their bank, who then made sure that being able to get a bank account was something that we were able to do, even though my husband does not have an ACRI card. Now, could he have gotten one? Yes, because he's under the Balikbayan visa. Did he want one? No. He didn't want to go through the trouble with it. If he had gotten it, then we would have access to more things at our bank, but we're in no rush. At least we were able to open a bank account, so that's huge, huge. And I'm thinking about doing a future video specifically about banking and financial stuff, but I have to kind of organize in my head what it is that I want to talk about. So really, if you have something that you think would be helpful, just put it in the comments. I don't normally say that because I'm just kind of sharing information, but I'm in the process of thinking a future video about finances, of what we did so we can pay our bills, things like that. Not only here in the Philippines, but also fulfill responsibilities that we have still in the United States. That's a whole nother thing. So we did that in May. Also in May, we, with our contract, we went to the barangay hall to receive a barangay certificate, which from the barangay captain, which was super helpful, because then in June, we went back to Quezon in Metro Manila to get our permanent driver's license, which we have our plastic driver's license, which is absolutely cool, super cool. And I think we did attempt again to try to get another bank account in a separate bank, and that didn't work out. But from what I've heard from other YouTubers, just don't stop trying. But so now we have our driver's license, which is so helpful in a lot of cases. I don't feel the need to have to carry my passport. That Philippines driver's license is, you're golden. To me, based on our experiences, perfect. It's perfect. By June 26, 2024, the decision was finally made to stop the process for dual citizenship. And that is going to be a separate video in itself. But I just finally decided to start the process of the 13G visa. And I already have plans for other videos on that process of the different organizations or agencies that we had to visit and what it was like while we were there and how we prepared for them. So that's going to, future videos will be about the Bureau of Quarantine, and the medical clearance and that experience, the National Bureau of Investigations and what that was like for us. I'll give more detail about the biometrics in the Bureau of Immigration at Intramuros specifically. And then now, fast forward to it's September 2024, and we are now in our final 2 to 3 month wait for final approval. And I think now you're caught up of where we are. We had done our biometrics already back in August. So it's now, that was the end of August. So we haven't even finished the first month. So hopefully October and November, which it gets a little concerning because in November, I have to file an extension. If not end of October, beginning of November, because my 1 year Balik Mayan visa expires. So of course, I'll give you an update whenever that happens. So there you go. Now you're caught up. I think that's everything we've done, either living in the Philippines the first 6 months, and then also all living matters and all of the legal stuff. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, listening, and I will catch you later. Bye.